Hi, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Gates weekly recap. I'm your host, Tim Shirer, and we're going to recap the best soap opera on television, Beyond the Gates. Now in its second season, and, getting better by the day. Great writing, great acting, great directing, great sets. I mean, really good sets. But this week, Leslie tried to plan Isaiah and Eva's wedding, even though they weren't engaged, and tried to steal the church venue for the reception and even the band, who Chelsea and Madsen wanted to play at their wedding. You know, that's how much she hates the Duprees, because even though she's rich because of the Duprees. Isaiah told her to lay off, and, she actually listened for once. Then Isaiah told Ava that they should get married, or they should convince Leslie that they're getting married, and then Madison and Chelsea can use the date and the band and the venue that they want, because Leslie will think they've already picked a date for theirs. It's just so she's just ridiculous. I mean, she's been ridiculous since day one, so of course we know Jacob is very deep undercover and told Naomi he won't be able to see her for a while after they made love. But before she woke up, Naomi had a very real dream that Jacob got killed. And so, they didn't tell us that it was a dream either. And it was kind of like, they're just going to tell us he got killed, or that's it, But she woke up and he was sitting in the chair, and she realized that he was still alive. So that was good. Derek and Leslie again, got into it at Orphe Jean's when she saw him having lunch, and she thought that he should be at the clinic working. He turned the tables on her and snaps a picture of her when she's yelling at him, and sent the picture to Eva. I don't know, I'm calling her Ava tonight. Eva. And she confronts Leslie about it, and Leslie really doesn't know what to say. Then, Ted tells Leslie that she needs to stay out of Eva's personal life, and stop trying to plan her wedding. So, there was a lot of Leslie this week. Nicole confronted Kyle and Carlton about the near fight they had at their basketball game with her ex Ted, which that was in itself was kind of weird. But Bill, visited the Dupree mansion to inform Vernon that Vernon and Anita, but, Vernon answered the door since Anita's sick, that he was able to call in a favor and get the construction halted on Leslie's house. He asked about how, he asked how Anita was doing. And before Vernon could answer, Anita came into the room, into the hallway, the entryway, and she could tell something was bothering Bill. So she sent Vernon to Orphe Jean's for food, and Anita and Bill had a good talk. He basically told Anita how much she means to him, and that the way she looks right now reminds him of how his mom was always beaten down by his dad and made to think she wasn't worth anything. So, he just said to her that, she shouldn't give up and fight the cancer. And it was a really nice, I liked it. It was, Bill spent a lot of years married to Danny, and he considers the Duprees his family. It really bothers him that they get mad at him and they, sometimes say things to him. The granddaughters, they're better. The grandchildren are better. Nicole's always terrible to him, of course, but she's kind of like, no wonder she's Kat's mom. She's terrible to everybody. She's perfect. So speaking of snobby Kat, she met with Kyle at Orphe Jeans because she wanted to know what his intentions are with her mother. While they're talking at Orphe Jeans, Kat notices that Eva and Leslie are meeting with the building, with her builder and the building inspector. And Leslie is furious. She is furious when she finds out that there was a violation. Her house is 1 inch too big. It's 1 inch over the property line, her house. And they stopped construction on it. And, after Leslie tried to bribe the building inspector, and Ava stopped her, then Leslie insulted the building inspector, and the building inspector gets up and leaves, as well as Leslie's builder. Eva tells Leslie that she's had enough of her, and she stormed out of Orphe Jeans. And on the way out, she gives Kat a death stare. It was, some of the previews look really good, though. I'll tell you that. The previews for next week look good. It looks like it's going to get very tense for Jacob undercover. There's a scene where Smitty's talking to him, telling him he needs to get out. It's too dangerous now. And so we'll see what happens. It's very, I'm hoping that, I feel like something's going to happen either to Jacob or Schmitty. It's Smitty. So we saw that for next week. Just the storylines are taking shape. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Ashley and Grayson now that Grayson is involved in the plasma scheme. They never said when he came on, like how long he was supposed to be on, how long was he going to be on. And I wouldn't be surprised if Grayson takes a bullet for Jacob and gets killed. But you never know. These writers I like. We didn't see much of Bill and Haley this week. We didn't see any of Haley, which was too bad. See her conniving con woman ass. But I thought that it was a good week. We only had 3 days of the show this week because the NCAA basketball tournament is on. So we only had Monday through Wednesday this week. They'll be back to 5. I think there'll be 3 again next week because Thursday and Friday next week, there'll be games 2 probably. So they may not be on next week. But, 3 days is better than no days, the way it was on holidays the first season. So hopefully they don't do that again now that we're going forward, because they don't do that with the Bold and the Beautiful, and they don't do it with Y&R, Young and the Restless. But I would like to see them develop more of the storyline with Ashley and Grayson. So when Ashley finds out that Grayson is blatantly lying to her, she'll get she'll get mad at him. And it'll be interesting to see if she, if she breaks up with him, because, that's why she broke up with Derek, because he wasn't honest with her. He didn't really lie. He just didn't tell her that he could walk. So I guess he was lying. But so I feel, though, like she'll make an excuse for Grayson because, Grayson is just trying to help his mom. Yeah, by selling illegal plasma to people. That's really good. This guy that works in a lab in the hospital. But as I said last week, I would not be stunned if that hospital administrator, I suppose they've said her name before, but I have not noticed it because she's really, really annoying. She's a bitch. And I think that I would not be stunned if she's ahead of the plasma ring, like with Joey. And I said that don't be stunned if she was Joey's sister. I really wouldn't be surprised at that if she was Joey Armstrong's sister. There's so much they could bring. They've been talking about a lot of relatives lately, which is good, because then they could bring these people in at some point. But you got to get the right casting. You gotta, if you're going to bring in somebody, there's got to be some really good casting, so hopefully, when they do bring in some of these characters they've been talking about, I thought Vanessa's daughter, Deanna, I thought they did a good job casting that, because boy, that girl was spitting venom when she was yelling at Vanessa at Uptown after the opening of the clinic. Whoo! She was in her face. And I thought that was really, I thought that was really good. It seems like they hit the mark when they cast that role. I don't know how much they're going to show her, but I thought that was a good job. So I think they should show her more. I think that she could be a character who gets herself in trouble because she wants attention. I really think she could be. I would think in the coming weeks too, we're going to see more about the debutante ball that's coming out. They're coming out for Samantha. And the witch at the country club and her granddaughter, she'll be causing more trouble because that's what she does. That's all she does. I mean, that's what she's there for. And the actress who plays her is very good too. She really plays a good snob witch. And her granddaughter's good too. So I think we need to see more from them. You know what I mean? If you can't just, I don't like when a show brings a character in that doesn't even really, they don't develop it at all. They just bring it and then they leave it. There's a lot of characters could be developed on this show. And it'll be interesting to see how they go about it. I know soaps don't have casts as big as they did, like when I was younger in the 80s and the 90s. I think some of those hour shows, like All My Children, One Life to Live, General Hospital, Guiding Light, As the World Turns, Another World, Days of Our Lives, all of those, they had 40, 50 cast members, not all contract, but they had large casts back then. And I don't think the advertising money is as good now. Plus they make more probably. So, the casts aren't as big, but I feel like they could bring some of these characters in on Beyond the Gates. And if they're a hit with the viewers, then you keep them on. There's nothing that says they have to stay. They could move out of town. They could go back where they came from. But I like I like the things they've been talking about where they could develop some new characters. So there's a lot to look forward to. Like I've said in the past, I could get bored with a soap easy, but I have not gotten bored with Beyond the Gates. It's been over a year now since it came on, and I've not gotten bored with it. So I think that's great. And they even got me hooked on watching Bold and the Beautiful before. But I will not watch Young and the Restless. I can't do it. I just can't watch it. There's just too many unlikable characters on that show. But I mean, not everything can be great like Beyond the Gates, right? So I think that's probably going to be it for tonight. I think next week, we will do a vault episode where we will do a regular show and recap Gates. And then we'll look back in the vault to a show. And I'm thinking, how about we do Ryan's Hope that ran on ABC from 1975 to 1989. Really good half-hour show on right at the lunch hour, 11:30 or 12:30 and maybe noon on most affiliates. It was a really good show, had really good writing, really took on controversial stories. I had great actors. So many actors started on that show. We'll talk about some of those, and we'll just talk about we'll go into the vault. We'll talk about Ryan's Hope next week at the end of the episode, and I hope you'll join us for that at 9:00 next Friday night for another episode of Beyond the Gates weekly recap. But I hope everybody has a great weekend. I'm going to watch some more tournament basketball. And then watch I'm pretty sure 3 days of Gates next week, and then we'll talk about it again. But until next Friday night at 9:00, I hope everybody has a great week, and I hope to see you somewhere around Fairmount Crest.